back.
And you can see me?
He can see you.
Can you see me?
Big Montana over there.
All right, let's go.
Big Sky, Montana.
All right.
Hey, this looks nice.
Which camera am I supposed to look at here?
Move it back.
You can look wherever you want, Scott. You look good. You look
All right.
good. You look good, Scott. Can you guys check? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It
Yeah.
was a little pixelated for a second there.
Nah, we're good. Dude, we're zooming. We got zooming Wi-Fi up here in the deal. Can you get my let's see.
Well, your head wasn't your forehead's not in the
How
shot.
about now? How about now? Now you can see me.
Yeah. There we go.
All right.
Is that on my screen?
Okay. I was trying to get some of the backdrop. You know what I mean? And you can move me up to the top, so I'm not floating kind of in the middle. But I like it here. Oh yeah, give it a little spit shine.
Yeah.
Little spit shine. All right, well, Kyle, dude, you're on the mic. You're running the show, so you get to do the show intro. You get to thank the sponsors. You get to thank the members.
Look at all the sponsors you guys have now.
Yeah. We're loading up.
Yeah, dude, we're rocking. Yeah.
Where-
Don't get nervous. This
Where
is
do you
a
want me to
good
put you? At the top?
show. Put me wherever you want.
All right. I think this
Alright,
is
so
good.
It's hard to hear me, so you're gonna need to move the mic closer or turn up your audio on the camera.
Yeah.
On your iPad.
It's all the way up.
Okay, so move the microphone.
All right.
Real gentle.
Yeah. Here we go.
Maybe as close to the speakers as possible. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Bri. Thank you, James. How are we looking now? Check. Got it tight. Yeah, Michael Cruz, we are high tech, my man. This way we don't have to wear headphones. You know, the headphones that people wear are just so... you guys got me now? And then you can actually, Kyle, toggle the audio on the OBS
Yeah,
side.
it's all the way up.
All the way up. Check. Slightly better. Okay.
Well, I have my screen behind the microphone. Should I put it like horizontal with it?
Yeah.
Let's try that.
Let's try that.
Move that
I don't know what the speakers. I don't know what the speakers are on the MacBook.
They're in the front, I think.
Yeah.
This is the
Warp
speakers.
10, Scotty, let's go.
These are the speakers.
It's all right. Jason, I should have done this from the ride-on lawnmower. I should have brought that up here and just done the whole show sitting on that. Jason, you're a little too late.
Oh, you know what I think it is sometimes is you probably need headphones.
I can get headphones. Should I grab headphones?
Yeah, because then it'll be louder.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
Let's try headphones. All right, you guys go do the sponsors and the whole show intro.
Welcome to the Spick and Span show. We got Scott Kemp in the studio today.
What's up?
Yeah, big shout out to JT, Gen X, GG Sports, Matrix Gear, Island Designs, Tiger Wear, Hormesis,
Laced up.
Fit Mission Beach.
Yeah, we'll sponsor you
Yeah,
guys.
we'll sponsor. Thanks. We'll probably need a good bit from you guys because I know you guys are making money over there. Maybe $5,000 a month. You think that's doable?
See what I can do.
Yeah, so we wanted to get Scott on here today. Talk a little bit about what he's been doing, training for a marathon with, which is kind of crazy too, with having to I kind of step away too from paintball with how your knees have been, which is, so that'll be good to talk about. Hopefully, maybe we can get Brandon Short on here also. Look, G-Hop's in here.
What? Let's go, G-Hop.
Yeah. You can also, if you want to write anything too, as we're talking, you could pull up the YouTube on your phone, Scott.
Okay.
All
But yeah.
right, how did he do?
Good. He said that Fit's gonna sponsor us $5,000 a month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We got Danny
All
Lincoln in here, Brandon Grossman.
Everyone forgot G-Hop's birthday.
G-Hop's knees are shaking.
Fucked
Why, is
up.
he so excited to watch us or what?
It already sounds better.
Shaking knees. Skemp, let's hear it, dude. Well, first of all, why'd you shave the mustache? That's what everybody really
Yeah,
wants.
that was.
No one cares about anything else. How do I sound? Do I sound better?
Yeah,
Way
way better. Before you even had him in your ear, it sounded better.
Dude, I did not want to shave the mustache. I was on a hot streak. It looked so good. Compliments all day from the babes and the guys. Mostly the guys.
Yeah,
But
mostly guys.
But I will say, when I shaved it, a lot of girls messaged me and said, "Why did you shave it?" So they secretly liked it. They just didn't give me the compliments in person, and then they were pissed that it's gone. But I had to shave it for a photo shoot that I have this week. But we're growing it right back, so don't worry. We're coming back. It was a good look for me.
Dude, it was a really good, good Freddie Mercury look. I liked it.
We're coming right back.
It was solid.
It did look like Freddie Mercury.
My front desk staff would all greet me in Spanish every morning. It was a whole new it was a whole new vibe. So, but we'll bring it back. We'll bring it back.
So what inspired you to do the mustache to begin with?
I just started it as a joke, as like, this is a marathon mustache. I'm gonna grow it out for this marathon I'm training for, and then I just rolled with it, and then I got compliments. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna rock a mustache, change it up a little bit. You can't grow a mustache, so anything I can do that you can't do, I have to take advantage of. There we go.
What's the max time that you've grown it out, Ryan?
He hasn't shaved it ever. 42 years.
No, the surf trip. The surf trip was as far as it goes.
But it's just like it's like super pixelated and blonde.
It's actually really good camouflage. I actually just look like I'm out of focus at all times. Like I can't really see him. No, I just look dirty. I just look extremely dirty. Like just because it doesn't really grow in thick. It just kind of like it just gets kind of long.
Sure.
It's like your hair, kind of. Like it just kind of grows long, but not very fluffy or thick.
Scott's hair.
No. But so okay, Scott. Why? So tell us about the marathon. Is anybody here watching done a marathon? Anybody? So tell us about it.
So I signed up for a marathon inspired by Marky and Short. Brandon Short, Mark Crescent, they're big runners, and they just talked me into it. They did an ultra earlier this year, a 50-mile ultra in Catalina, which is ridiculous. They basically ran for 9 hours straight, nonstop. You're just eating, and while you're running, you don't stop the whole time. It's unreal. 50 miles. If you do 50 miles in 1 month, like that feels like a lot. They did it all in one whack, from sunrise to sunset. I hate running. It's not ever been part of my training at all. I've always been more of a sprinter. Training for paintball, long distance running has never been my forte. But they've been chirping at me to sign up for this marathon. It's called the Rock and Roll Marathon, and it's in San Diego. And it's a big one that they're going to join. So some of my colleagues at work are entering it as well. They're all doing the half, and I was like, you know what? I'll enter. I'll do a half. Half is 13 miles. Marky and Short are like, hell no, you're not doing a half. You're doing the full. And as they're trying to talk me into this, I have maybe 3 miles under my belt over the last decade plus. Like, I haven't ran at all. I don't run. We do sprints. We do hill sprints, resistance training. I don't do long distance jogging. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to train for this, and I'm going to do a full. And I tell people that are runners that I have 8 weeks to run a full marathon with 0 training under my belt. And they're like, you're crazy. Like, there's no way. Yeah, that's so much. Full marathon is 26.2 miles. So I made a whole program for an 8-week plan to get me to 26.2. And the goal is to get to 20 miles on your longest run. You never run 26.2 in your actual training unless you're a competitor and you're trying to hit a certain time. You'll do 26.2 on the actual marathon. So I wrote out a whole...
You're going for your personal best on day of.
Yeah, you're going to hit a longer distance, the atmosphere, the adrenaline, it'll push you a little harder. Mm-hmm. But if you can do 20 on your own, then you're there. So I put a whole program together, changed up my whole weight training, and just started hitting it. And my longest run so far has been 17 miles. Took me a little over 3 hours, which is pretty crazy because 6 weeks in, I'm running 17 miles nonstop, no walking, at a pretty decent pace. And I feel like a bag of bricks out there. Like, I'm not made for running. My biggest concern was my knees. My health of my knees just aggravating me. I've developed osteoarthritis in my knees from just wear and tear from paintball, ACL surgery. But they've been holding up pretty well. I've been recovering well. And it's just been a new challenge. So I was thinking about how to answer this question when you guys were going to ask me, like, why did I start running? And everyone at work asks me, and friends ask me, like, why are you running a marathon? And my short-winded answer is midlife crisis. I mean, there's some truth to it. Midlife crisis. Just try to do something new.
It would be quarterly life. I think we're living to 120.
But the deeper answer to this is to challenge myself in that field that I'm missing from paintball, really, because like I miss competing. And it was funny. I was over your house a few weeks ago. Dynasty had a big practice. All the guys were in town. I haven't seen a lot of the teammates in a while. Talking with Archie, Blake, Yosh, guys I haven't seen in a long time, and they're like, "Hey, do you miss paintball? Do you miss it?" And I was like, "I do." What I miss the most is competing, and like most people in the world will never even know what that feels like. Most people are sitting on the sideline watching. For you two, you're still competing, and you still have that adrenaline, that rush, and that goal-driven. And there'll come a point in your life where you're not going to be competing anymore. And I'm at that point now. So, what are the things I have to look forward to? I have work, I have goals, numbers to hit. It's not the same excitement. I surf, and it's fun and adrenaline, but to apply yourself for a long-term goal or short-term goal and compete, here I'm competing, against myself. I miss that. And so it's something that I had for most of my life throughout paintball that really like groomed me into the person that I am. And so I think a lot of it is just filling that void of not playing paintball anymore. And so it's been fun. It's been really hard and challenging. And I've definitely progressed way faster than 99.9% of people would ever be able to do. And I will say that there's two factors involved on why I'm at where I'm at and why I'm going to be able to run this marathon. So one is training smart and having the education to do that. So that's the easy part. Writing out a program, sticking to a plan, having a smart plan for recovery, for progression, for training. I'm well educated in strength training and nutrition. I'm not very well educated in long distance running, but I have connections and people that I know. So I've made out a plan and I have a good strategy involved. That's the easy part. And for people that don't know and aren't educated in that field, you can hire people to help you with that. You can hire people for nutrition and for training programs. And again, that's the easiest part. The hard part is actually doing it and applying yourself and putting yourself through that hardships. And when you talk about running, people talk about like, it's all mental. And it is. It's all mental to push yourself through hard shit and through pain. And I can relate that with weight training as well. Like it is tough mentally, physically, and you're digging into this deep place of like pushing yourself. And they call it in running, they call it the pain cave. And it's like, how long are you willing to sit in the pain cave and how deep will you go into the pain cave? Because it's like this mental and physical pain, and you're just pushing it as hard as you can. Like, how long can I keep going through this? And to get deeper and more emotional on this topic is like why I push myself hard through my hard runs, and even through like strength training and through my life, is that when I think of that hard pain that you're pushing yourself through mentally and physically, what motivates me and keeps me just pushing is thinking of all the people that can't do it. So I think of my dad, who is winded walking 20 steps and has emphysema, and he would do anything to be able to run a mile and have that youth back. I think of Jerry, who had his ability to walk taken from him, and he's in a wheelchair and he can't play paintball. I think of all the people that have lost the ability health-wise, physically, and are unable to do something like this. And so when I'm in the pain cave and I'm going through mental pain and suffering, I think to myself, this is a blessing, and I have the ability to do this because one day I won't be able to do this. And so that's like my deep motivation that pushes me in the moments.
Dude, that's awesome. All right, well, good show, guys. I think we'll wrap it up now. Scott really just pretty much answered every question that we had. No, dude, that's really cool because, you know, it's funny. If you go onto blogs, and I don't know why I've even come across this before, but if you read runners' blogs, like guys who run and write a blog about it for the first time they've ever done it, they're hilarious. Like the accounts of people who have like kind of trained and they end up getting to most everybody ends up getting to the finish line. And it comes, or at least if they write about it, and they kind of give their personal firsthand account of how and what they did and like the pain that went through it and kind of like what motivational factor they had and like what went wrong, like terribly wrong for them while they're doing it. And it's always actually it's interesting to see what people's different motivation is, right? Like, and you touched on the competition side of things, like being competitive. You're right, man. That's like super hard for a lot of people if they were career competitors to like move out and move along to something new and not like, and still have that competitive drive, but not being able to like really push it or like really like enter yourself. Cause like you jumped in, like played a couple things with the Bloodhawks. You came back with us, played some paintball. And obviously you said that your knees hurt too bad and you ended up going for a 26 mile. So clearly we weren't motivation enough for you.
Yeah. But
no, it's really interesting. It's pretty cool to like see people do that, and I'll get messages and emails and things like that every so often. Especially guys, you know, I just read who was it? Austin just kind of came back after playing from paintball from 10 years, and a lot of people, we get a lot of these stories of people kind of like essentially growing up for a little bit to kind of get their lives sorted out when they played younger, they're younger, and then when they start playing again when they have families and stuff. And it's really interesting because you'll hear guys that get back into the sport or guys who used to compete and they're like, I really want to start competing again. Like it was really cool. Like I love having like this home, this place to be. Obviously paintball is really really welcoming. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love that motivation. Do you think your dad's gonna come down?
Nah, he's not able to leave LA County ever, really.
Really?
Yeah, his health's not that great there, but yeah, we'll have friends come out.
Sign, right?
Nah, he's gonna stay home too. But yeah, it's to go off that topic of like, you know, when you compete in something at the pro level. You look at all these other pro athletes, football, basketball stars who, when they hang it up, they're kind of like lost. You know, they're like, all right, now what do I do? Some of them become alcoholics. You know, some of them fill that void with drugs, substance abuse, food. They get fat. You know, just like, what am I filling up this time with, or this passion that I'm missing? But even for people who never go pro, like that's the awesome thing about paintball is being able to just get together. If it's just a hobby on the weekends that you get to do, you get to feel that competitive drive and that atmosphere of, you know, competing and the adrenaline, the rush. And that's, you know, something that's really fun and special about the sport of paintball. I will say too about running. I don't recommend running. I will say that. Like it sucks. Like here's the thing about running. Like I've been in the fitness industry for 15 years. You know, strength training, body composition is my specialty. If you want to get in shape, don't start running long distance. No. Like, no. It's going to take a toll on your joints. A lot of people end up getting skinny fat because what happens is you're putting your heart rate into too high of a heart rate zone. Generally, your VO2 max isn't that great, and you're going to be in zone 3, zone 4, and your body's going to burn away more of the stored glucose rather than body fat as fuel. So if you want to do cardio to burn fat, you want to do probably a slower, steady cardio, zone 1, zone 2, like a walk or an incline walk or treadmill or elliptical, something that'll be lighter on the joints too. Running destroys your joints. People just develop a lot of pain. I'm constantly talking shit to Marky and Brandon all the time because they just run. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the process, but I keep telling everybody at work too. I'm like, I'm losing muscle. I'm gaining fat. Like, I'm getting out of shape from running. Like, I'm just destroying my body. And all my trainers are making fun of me too. They're like, you're the guy that does like the like reverse challenge, like gains all the weight to like prove a point and then like gets it back. I'm like, yeah, that's me right now. Like, I hate running. I think it's stupid for body composition. I think it's fun if you just want to challenge yourself. But if your goal is, you know, gain muscle, lose body fat, which is most people's goal, don't run.
Mm-hmm.
Don't run. You're just going to wear out your joints and probably be in a too high of a heart rate.
Yeah, that's actually really important that people listen to that.
Yeah. I'm putting my body through hell right now.
Well, you know what's funny is like, and I think you used to say it because, I mean, I've never done anything long distance, and Matty Marshall used to run, dude. Remember when we used to live with Matty? Matty would run.
I was just chatting with him the other day about how much he used to run. We've been chatting it up.
It's crazy, dude. Matty Marshall, for all you guys who don't know, he's way more fit than you'd look at. So like, we used to live up on this hill all together, and Matty would run from the house to the beach, which is about like just under a mile and a half, maybe right around a mile, kind of downhill. He would wear like Etnies skate shoes
Just
and like
bricks on his
jean
feet.
shorts and jean shorts. He would run to the sand, get on the wet sand, and then run like 3 miles to the jetty and then back. And on his way back, he'd pick up a California burrito and he would come back up. No stretch. He would just sit down and mouth the burrito down.
Just sheer willpower.
Dude. Yeah. So talk about that. Like, so this is important. I think this is like a really big one, right? Because obviously, like in running, I guess you'd say like, what is the biggest mental challenge there? Is just kind of like it's easy to quit, right? Like I'm tired. I'm over this. I've been seeing the same thing. I've been doing this for like an hour or however long. Like my body's sore. What's the easiest reasons for giving up while you're running?
Pain, like hamstrings are just tight as hell. Calves are cramping up. The hips are just feeling just wrecked. Hip flexors on fire. Like that lactic acid burning that you get in the muscles. You know, that feeling of just being on fire. And exhaustion and feeling like you just want to like fall over on your face. But you can keep going. But you can keep pushing yourself. It's just a matter of how far do you want to push. But I also want to say this too on running is that there's a point where if you are injured and you're just pushing yourself through an injury and a pain, that's also foolish too. So there's the mental aspect of like the hardcore David Goggins of we're just gonna run with a torn meniscus just to do it and have no cartilage left in your knees, and we're gonna just push through injury, and that's foolish because now you're just gonna be in a boot or have to go through some surgery or something, and you're just setting yourself back. So I do want to also say this for people that do run, and I'm listening to my body as I'm dealing with things as well, is knowing the difference of fatigue pain, of atrophy, of muscle atrophy, and injury joint pain. And you need to know that difference and have that body awareness is, am I having sharp pain in the joint because I'm damaging something? Or am I feeling this muscle burning pain because of the lactic acid buildup? And if you don't
how do you differentiate that? How are you supposed to be able to, without having like a medical degree or previously having injuries that really show that?
It's more going to be a sharp pain in the joint versus like an overall burning sensation that would probably also be equally on both limbs as well. Your quads are burning. Both sides are feeling an equal burn from that lactic acid. That's normal. If my lower quad close to my knee is feeling just a sharp pain on the right side only, then that's probably pain and injury in joint. And then you want to stop and don't just push through and don't just try to be tough. Because a lot of people do push through injuries through running and then they set themselves back even further. So that's something that I have to take into consideration too, is I'm not trying to be in a boot and, wreck myself for several months to get a participation medal here.
We should get G-Hop in here. He's talking crap.
What's he saying?
Yeah.
Ryan's going to be so annoying when he retires.
Oh, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself when I retire. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself if I ever get myself in a boot. I'm over here like
dude,
and things, and there's like, I mean, it's rattlesnake season, and I'm in the
meatball roll, not run. G-Hop said meatball roll, not run. We got G-Hop in here, and he calls me meatball, and he said meatball roll.
I see him.
Have you guys seen the Fandango video?
That's good. Put the Fandango link in here in case anybody needs a refresher.
Let's watch the Fandango again. We're for sure.
They need a refresher. They need a refresher.
Yeah, it really does. Hey, so here's a question, and I kind of know the answer because we've used to do it all the time. But Matthew asked, he said, "That's the best advice I've heard. Been thinking of running to get stamina up for points, but now I'm thinking explosive mechanics are more important."
Absolutely.
And less wear and tear on the body. And I think here's another important one that I think that a lot of people discount. And I remember you said it to me a long time ago, but if you have the opportunity to run and you want to do it long distance, do it on something that has a forgiving ground, right?
Yeah.
So by that, I mean, like if you're running on the track, usually like the tracks, the rubberized tracks, because you want to have a little bit of give rather than running on concrete for what you're going to do for 26 miles. It's just like, I mean, I just think of like those visuals of shock absorbers, or I always think of like, those Icy Hot commercials, and there's like this swollen, like glowing red part where your lower back is, where I have
everything
pain just from
is just getting
everything.
compressed.
Jumping on the trampoline.
I did, dude, God,
yeah,
jumping. I'm like, man, I don't know why my back keeps hurting. Like, I feel like I'm taking pretty good care of it. And Kyle jumps on the trampoline one time with Sloan, and he's like, "Hey, dude, my back was killing me. Does it hurt you?" And I go, "That's what it is."
Yeah. So to answer Matthew's question, to improve your stamina and endurance, you want to focus on your VO2 max, and to improve your VO2 max is how much oxygen your body's able to absorb. And to improve that, you need to push your max heart rate and threshold. So training more sprints, training more hills, sand, doing shorter distance where you're pushing yourself to zone 4, zone 5 in shorter durations, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minute maximum. And then a good ratio is a 2-to-1 rest. A 1-to-2 rest. So if I'm going to sprint for 30 seconds, then I can rest for a minute. Giving yourself more if needed to get that heart rate back down so that you can get good effort. But training your VO2 max and pushing that threshold will improve your endurance in the long run for the shorter long distance stuff. So even for paintball as well, because I know that question is tailored towards paintball, but part of my training that I'm doing right now is I do a short run, I do a long run, and I do a medium run.
Per week, right?
Per week, per week. My short run is interval training where I'm pushing myself at a fast tempo. A lot of times I'm doing incline. I'll use a treadmill, I'll do incline. And I'm running at a 80% max effort, 90% max effort for 3 to 5 minutes. And then I'm resting, and then I'm repeating that. Those short runs I do help improve my VO2 max and help me for my long, slow runs. And I've noticed over the weeks of doing that my heart rate is actually at a lower rate when I'm going at the same speed for my long runs. So most people, when they do short runs to improve, they're not going hard enough. And when they do the long runs, they're going too fast. So a good way to train is like really push yourself in those short durations. And that's a great way to build your cardio up. If you have a park or sand where you can do sprints outside, that's great, or a hill, that's safe. If not, treadmill, and you can adjust the incline. That's always a great way to work on tempo training and intervals like that.
This is a...
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
I was going to answer a comment, so I think you're on it maybe.
Oh, Alan Fang?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was saying, is plyometrics and explosive training good for paintball? Any suggestions which are the best drills for quick breakouts to the front Doritos snake, and best explosive training drills or mobility, like what traditional athletes do? Is that
plyometrics is critical for all agility sports because you're building explosive speed, but you're also training the body to absorb impact and balance and stability through the joints, especially the lower body, which is crucial for paintball. You're sliding and diving, and to prevent rolling your injury and blowing your knee out. Training in plyometrics helps build up that strength to absorb impact like that. And then the other part of that question was something about mobility. What was he saying?
Just I don't know if it was supposed to be changed, but best explosive training drills or mobility, like what traditional athletes do. I don't know if that was part of the other question.
I mean, it's hard to just say like this is the best drill to do. There's so many, but you want to think of movements that would incorporate into the movements that you're doing in paintball. Box jumps are great. Any vertical and horizontal movements, so jumping up onto box jumps, and then broad jumps, so jumping forward as well. Single legs as well as using both legs, and lateral movements too. Ladder drills are also great, but I'm not going to say that there's just like one particular great drill, but getting a wide variety of all different types of plyometrics, moving in all different planes of motion, frontal, sagittal, transverse, and training your body to be able to absorb impact like that is really important, along with strength training too, in order to build up strength and just be more resilient, less injury prone, and faster.
Would you say too there's like, you should have a mix, or is it based on kind of like what your body composition is already, but versus like doing high repetitions and maybe low weight, or heavier weight, lower reps?
So that's all relative to like what you're training. And so when you're going heavier, you get to a point where you're working on more strength. And if you're going a little lighter and higher volume, then you're into more of a hypertrophy, which is muscle building. So if your goal is to actually build the muscle up, break it down, get a big pump and see growth, then, training in the teens is usually a good range. If you want to build strength, you're going to train in a lower volume, higher weight. But to go deeper into like how you should train and giving you just like a kind of broad answer that I told Short about this the other day on a big run we did, because he just runs all the time, right? And so people are always questioning, how do I break up my training? How much cardio should I be doing? Strength training, mobility stuff. And to give a general answer about this is you can break fitness up into 6 categories, okay? So you have strength, you have power, you have hypertrophy, you have flexibility or mobility, you have athleticism, and you have cardio. And there's 6, think of this as like 6 different cups to fill up. Well, any athlete training for a particular sport is going to have more effort in some and less in the others. And anytime you're pouring into one, you're going to take from the other. So, for example, if all I did was yoga and I ran all the time, my mobility, flexibility, and my cardio is great. But guess what? My strength and power is crap. My joint stability is crap. So I know a lot of yogis who just run and do cardio, and they're in constant pain. They have great mobility, but they have no stability. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now we can look at the polar opposite. Let's take a power lifter. Somebody who can move a tremendous heavy amount of weight for 1 rep maximum. They're strong as hell, right? But their cardio is probably crap. Their mobility is probably crap. So anytime you pour into one of these buckets, you're going to take from the other. And so the question is always, how much do I pour into each one? And that comes down to your lifestyle and your goals. The goal is not training to be as strong as you possibly can be. It's train to be as strong as you need to be for your sport or your lifestyle. And so there's ways you can train and check all 6 of these boxes every day, or at least on a weekly period. I personally like to check all these boxes on a weekly period. I try to make sure that I do some sort of strength training, some sort of power training, some sort of sport agility movement, some sort of flexibility movements, some cardio, and some hypertrophy training. And if I can check all those boxes 1 to 3, 4 times in a 7-day period, then I feel like I'm training very well balanced and longevity, which is my goal. Some people will be more extreme based, again, really on their sport and overall goals. But I think, the average Joe just needs to feel good in all of those aspects. And many people, they go really hard in a few because it's just like they enjoy that. And then they're lacking others. I was telling Short, you need to start weight training. He's getting weak, but he's got great cardio. He needs to start weight training and start doing more mobility work. So pour into the areas that you're lacking in your program.
It's probably easier too because you're getting a routine.
Exactly.
To stick in that one, whatever it is. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, he's also, and I get it too, because he's got twins. So it's like, I use surfing as a great example. Like, I could go to the gym and be back home in like an hour and a half, but if I go surfing, I'm gone for like 2.5 hours. If Short goes on a run, he's got like a break. He's got like a 3-hour break that I got to hit my 26 miles today. You know what I'm saying? And then just kind of like checking the boxes, like, big old, like the guys, the power lifters, they don't need to be mobile because they're not ever running away from anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so, exactly. They're training for what they want. So,
yeah. And then if you guys are strength training, you're kind of an idiot. I'm telling you right now. If you are doing, what's the one where it's like trying to get, it's like the be as strong as you can in the shortest amount of time, the CrossFit stuff.
CrossFit.
Where you like max yourself out and then about to hurt yourself. You're just trying to get yourself really good at lifting boxes and then helping your friends move. You don't want to do, and you don't want to be like really strong at like lifting like random objects.
So,
but
don't get the misconception of strength training with powerlifting and CrossFit, because like strength training is resistance training. Strength training is being able to pick up the stroller off the ground and twist and turn and put that stroller into the car, like picking up a 40-pound object. Like that is a form of strength training. And so and so people get the misconception of like strength training as far as injury, or I'm just trying to be strong. But like I said earlier, and kind of what you're saying is people should train. Everyone needs to strength train, but you want to strength train as to put yourself to be as strong as you need to be, not as strong as you can be, because we can all train ourselves very vigorously to see how strong can I possibly be, how much can I deadlift, and how much can I squat. I'm never pushing myself to see how strong I can be. I'm training to be as strong as I need to be. I train my core and my legs and my back to be stable and strong for surfing, so that when I wipe out, I'm not blowing out an L5 in my disc and just herniating, and I'm training my shoulders with kettlebells and stabilizing movements so that I have stronger stability in the joints. So it's about being as strong as you need to be for your lifestyle, for your sports, not just hitting PRs to say like you put up a certain weight. And yes, CrossFit, foolish unless you're a well-trained athlete and you can keep good form while fatigued in zone 3 or zone 4. And most people can't. Never should a rookie, new lifter ever take CrossFit classes.
Yeah, Ryan.
So that's important. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to get good at like lifting heavy things.
Ryan thought hypertrophy was what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Getting trophies. Stacking trophies. He thought that's what it was.
I'm hypertrophy.
He's been training for hypertrophy.
Dynasty's been in hypertrophy for the last 30 decades.
30 decades. Hey,
since the start of the dinosaur or the dragon.
Yeah, since medieval times. What's the best? So 2 things. What's your favorite drill to do in the gym for paintball when you were doing it, and then what's the best way to recover from a long day of paintball?
I'll answer this one backwards because I have to think about my favorite drill. But the best way to recover after a long day of paintball, so right away when I would get home, I would ice my knees. If you had any areas of inflammation, I would get ice to it right away. I generally would come home and my knees would be swollen from just diving and sliding. If you're dealing with a shoulder or back or whatever, and there's inflammation, I'm a huge fan of icing just to get that inflammation down and out of the system. Even some mild ibuprofen right away if you feel like you're really inflamed.
And you're having to do that now, right, with running?
I'm doing cold plunges after my runs, yeah. So if you have access to a cold plunge or ice, that's a great way to just reduce that inflammation. Nutrition is really important. So high protein, good complex carbohydrates, vegetables, fruit, those are all going to be nourishing your body to help recover. So eating a good post training dinner, lunch, and giving yourself good nutrients, lots of hydration as well, and good sleep and rest. And if you're feeling just beat up and your body is wrecked the next day, like, don't work out and don't train, and give yourself time to actually recover and continue the process of eating good and staying hydrated. People really overlook how important food is and sleep for recovery. It is so critical. People will do all this hard work in the gym, training in paintball, and then they'll just give their body crap. And now you're causing inflammation. You're slowing down the process of recovery. You're not getting enough protein. Your muscles can't recover. So don't neglect food. Put that out on the top of the totem pole. Sleep, recovery, huge part. So long-winded answer of ways to recover from paintball.
Just treat your body well.
Yeah.
So let me throw this out, because I see this a lot. I go to, as I'm doing clinics, I'll kind of send, especially if it's for private teams, right? If a field gets us to come out, we'll give them a prep work, like, please don't drink sodas the week before. Try to hydrate with this.
Yeah.
So let me give you this. It's not even hypothetical. This is real situation that I run into a lot. All right. So player shows up, Dunkin' Donuts bag, eating some sort of breakfast sandwich. They've got a Skittles energy drink in their hand, right? And then they've halfway through the day, they're drinking a soda and hitting the vape pen pretty regularly throughout the day.
Yeah.
At lunch, it's pizza, and then they're kind of gassed at 1 p.m. What do you think the problem there was?
Just the one soda.
It's the soda.
Yeah, that's tough. Are these usually younger kids?
It runs the whole gamut. You can be 40-year-olds. Some of the guys look like they're 40 or 50. I think they're in their mid-20s.
Yeah. So the thing is, when you're just treating your body like hell like that, for the younger kids, they might not even be feeling the toll and the consequence yet, because their body is just optimal hormones, right? Their testosterone's high, so they're naturally just feeling good energy-wise. But it's going to catch up to them soon if it hasn't yet. And then you're not going to have longevity of playing paintball in your 30s and 40s. You're toast. And then if you are in your 30s and 40s and you're doing that, you are feeling it. Don't tell me that you're not feeling it. And then I'm assuming these guys are good for half of the points, and they're on the sideline a ton, and they're gassed. So you're feeling the effects of it, and you're obviously, direct correlation to what you're putting in your body. So, it's if you really care about paintball and your performance, and just your health, which should matter even more than paintball, to be honest. Minor cutbacks, drop one thing at a time, slowly see improvement, start to add in one good habit at a time. And then to go back off the question, because I didn't answer, favorite drill in the gym that I loved when I was still competing. This one I haven't done in a really long time, but this is one of my favorite ones to get my speed up and endurance. It's called a dead mill sprint. So you use a treadmill and you don't turn it on. You keep it in the off mode, and you're kind of using it like a sled. Before a lot of gyms started getting conventional sleds, this was a great way to do sled pushes. So you're holding onto the handles in front and you're leaning forward into it. You can drive the belt of the treadmill with your feet when it's off. If you turn it on, then it kind of locks into a gear. But you're doing sprints, driving that belt as fast as you can, leaning forward into it, simulating a sled push. As fast as you can, all out, 10, 15 seconds, and then hop off, catch your breath, give yourself 30 to 60 seconds rest, and you're just repeating that. But those are called dead mill sprints. If you need a visual of it, just YouTube dead mill sprints. I believe I put a YouTube video of it up on my channel a while ago, and there's other people with me. But that's a good one you can do at the gym.
Yeah, you also get the good dead mill sprint fails when the people don't jump off properly, and then it just flings them into the wall.
No, it doesn't. So because those are the videos where the treadmill's actually on at 15 miles an hour and they're trying to keep up with it.
No. What's that one that you had that we used to do?
That's the free motion. That's a free motion one.
The one that's like kind of like a lift. That thing does not slow down.
That thing does not. We're not using that on a dead mill sprint. We're talking about just a conventional treadmill.
Roll you up and shoot you against the wall.
Yeah, this one's gonna have constant resistance, but
okay.
But yeah,
I think it's scary. That one's
but
scary.
hold on to the handles at all time. Hold on to the handles at all time.
Scott, you're about to get served.
Yeah.
A couple weeks.
Sign the liability in the chat forum. Sign the liability in the chat forum, boys.
I saw someone mention it in here, and I just this makes me just the story of you. Your liver experience kind of just brings a joy to my face all the time.
We could talk about it.
Yeah. So eating raw organs was a big thing, and kind of still is. I think it's still got a lot of traction. You jumped on that boat for a little bit. I mean, Archie is an animal when it comes to eating random raw and crazy. I think he got a steak from the grocery store the other morning on the way to practice, and ate a New York straight steak raw.
Really?
No way.
At ASG. Like,
Dang.
I'm talking like.
Dude, that's wild.
Like, it looked like one of my dogs.
If he get Camelbacter, and then you'll change your thoughts on eating that raw.
Get what?
I got a virus called Camelbacter.
There's someone here called
this guy.
Yeah, Camel Clutch.
Camel Clutch.
Said, who's that hunk in there?
Dude,
sleeve tattoo.
Archie's a superhuman person, dude. It just he went to Coachella on Friday night.
That's wild.
Player of the day the next day. I mean, he's eating raw sheep testicles, I think, and he's eating liver, dude. He's a wild animal, dude. And he's another type of.
He is superhuman. That's wild.
I think he could go. I think he can go to Rufus del Sol and then run the marathon the next day, without even breaking a sweat.
In Converse.
And in Converse in the board shorts. He doesn't get chafed. He doesn't get tired.
Speaking of, someone said, how does Scott, I mean, I think half of this was a joke, but how does Scott at his age still look like a younger, more built, better looking Vasquez? But I mean, I know one thing too, I think that I could answer for you that probably has helped you a lot is just you quit drinking.
Yeah.
How long has it been now?
9 months today.
Damn.
I was going to bring that up too, yeah.
I haven't had a sip of alcohol for 9 months.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, I'm not into that.
You're not having as much fun, but you definitely feel better.
You do you.
We're not getting laid, but our skin's vibrant. Got a few more abs.
You gotta give to get, right?
You gotta give. We're giving foot massages, and that's no, I'm just kidding.
What prompted you for that? Like, what was the motivation behind just kind of like deciding not to drink? And did you save money, and are you able to spend it on better food?
Yeah, all the above. It's I don't know. I've gone back and forth, like want to quit and then don't want to quit and then drink, and it's fun. And don't get me wrong, had so much fun memories. Like drinking, some of my best times of my life have been involved alcohol, and it's just part of human interaction. And people ask me are you ever gonna drink again? And I don't know, maybe. But right now, it just doesn't serve a purpose in my life, and I just feel like I'm making a lot of progress in a lot of areas of my life without it, and bringing it into my life just feels counterproductive, and. It's just this social thing that, you drink after a tournament and, win or lose, you drink. And, you drink when you get together for, celebrations and birthdays and this and that. And it's just a never ending thing. And I think for most of my life, paintball always kept me really grounded from drinking because you had paintball practice on the weekends that took away from, partying on the weekends all the time. And then when you don't play paintball anymore, it's easy to just go drink on the weekends. And just like we were talking about, people would retire and then just start drinking. I found myself doing that a lot too. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Just wasting my weekends away, feeling hungover, taking, 2 or 3 days to feel normal again at work. And even just like guilt too, because I work in the fitness industry and I'm getting paid to help people better their life, like physically and mentally. And then I feel like, here I am like just partying, like, and I just feel like guilty almost, like I'm supposed to lead by example and be a role model to these people. And then I moved in my own place, and then living on my own, went through a breakup too, and then also just like thinking about Bobby and like losing Bobby Avila's, and just like a lot of like negative things like would go through. Like alcohol felt like a downer to me, and it was like taking me down like mentally.
It is depressing.
And like I would think about Bobby and how I'd miss him, and then a breakup, and I would just like feel myself like going lower and lower, and I was using it as like a coping mechanism to deal with like hard times and
stuff.
pain. Yeah, and then you're just digging yourself like deeper, and then you're just like you're feeling even worse the next day. So I moved into my own place, and I bought a little condo 9 months ago, and then I decided, I'm moving in this place, I'm gonna just stop drinking, and I'm just gonna turn a new chapter and just focus on my health and not, even have a single drink. Because it's like people will go into these waves of like, oh, I'm gonna have a limit, I'm gonna have a limit, but I feel like it's always hard to have a limit. I've always had struggle of like, I'm gonna go to the party and have 2 drinks and then cut myself off. And for me, it's like I'm like the last one at the bar and just like shut it down. So I've now gone out like 100 times for work events and parties and this and that, and it's easy to just not have it at all. What's hard is if I had 1 or 2 and then try to cut myself off. So I like it. I feel good. I feel like I'm waking up early on the weekends and productive and getting things done, and all these little wins of compounding. Saving money, of course, is a plus. Like physically looking better, like people are complimenting me of like, dude, you look younger and you look like leaner and your face looks like more like chiseled, and it's just like those are like cool wins, but that's not the reason. That wasn't like my motive. My motive is more of my mental health than like my external health. So
sure.
To be honest, that was the mustache mainly.
It was the mustache.
Yeah, had nothing to do with alcohol. That was basically, you got that mustache that's like tight.
Hey, Ty Dang had a question earlier. He said, what temperature should you look for with the cold plunges? Like, what should it
So we got some at work that we have them set for high 30s, low 40s. And I like that temp. I think anything in the high 40s doesn't feel that cold anymore. So yeah, I like 38 to 40 is like a sweet spot if you can get it to that temp.
You talked a little bit. I mean, obviously the prepping for the, and this is something that really bugs me is when I'm coaching teams, especially. But you're prepping for a marathon, right? You how long did you have? 6 weeks, you said?
8 weeks.
8 weeks. You have 8 weeks to prep yourself from not running at all to being able to run 26 point whatever and some change.
0.2.
Yeah, I know you're counting every point. Yeah, every decimal
the
point.
0.2 matters.
Yeah. When are you doing it again? When does it happen?
June 2nd. June 2nd.
June 2nd. Hell yeah, dude. All right, I'm gonna be there. I wanna make sure I'm spraying, I don't know, water or whatever they do. But so here's one thing, and I think a lot of paintball players and a lot of people who are listening to this can really gain from this, right? Is the preparation that goes into not just the eating, but the planning, okay? The regimen and the planning. Now, most players, and especially the teams that I coach, and the teams that I not even just the teams I coach, but like even just the clinics that I teach, the guys will go into everything and they spend a lot of money on their gear, their equipment. They drive really far. They're about to shell out a bunch of dough just for the weekend if they're playing an event. But what they fail to do is change the batteries in their gun, can lube their bolts, squeegee their barrel, bring the right like lenses, just these like little nuances that can like attribute to being and being more prepared. But then even further is a lot of them just kind of like struggle with bunker names and studying the fields. It's like the little tiny things, and everybody's so eager to get like as many points in as possible as they can over the course of a weekend or a day at practice, and they fail to like really gain a lot out of those points. And we end up making kind of similar mistakes on a regular basis. What would you say, not only from a paintball standpoint, but just even from a runner standpoint, like small little nuances, like things that you're anticipating already that you want to make sure you're dialed in with, and things that you could foresee yourself like, oh crap, I overlooked this, and there could be an issue.
Yeah, do the homework, do the prep work. You have to for anything, and anything that you want to be successful in life, whether it's prepping for a marathon, prepping for bodybuilding, prepping for paintball, like all the little things, those are what matters. And it's not the actual like showing up for the workout or showing up for the practice that's the most important part. It's like you're saying, being prepared for all that stuff. So I spent a lot of time going through creating a program, and that program is tailored to my ability of what I think I'm capable of doing, my progression, based on, as well as the science of what's going to be the best formula for running, where I'm going to run. I map my runs out prior. I know the routes I'm going to use. I use an app that shows me the runs I'm going to do. I estimate my times that I'm going to do. My warm-up is already like planned out. My outfit that I have, the items that I need for that run. If it's a long run, I have my gel packs already packed in my bag. My meals for that day. I usually run in the afternoon on a break at work, and I have 1 or 2 meals prior, and I already know the meals that I'm going to have and my post-workout meal so that I'm getting recovery and my ice bath after. So like everything's dialed into a regiment, and I feel like I've always been I was talking about this to my older brother this last weekend because I was home with him, and him and I are the complete opposite. And I've always been super over compulsive, organized about everything in my life. Like I'm always like check sheet, and like I get everything done, and like every little detail. Like in paintball, I would have like, if I was going to a tournament, I would have a list, and I would have all the items that I needed to buy or to pack or things to do. And that's just been like, I feel like I've just kind of been like that my whole life, and organization just feels structural to me and satisfying to me, and some people struggle with it. So I would say maybe if you do struggle with organization and the homework and the little tasks, writing something out on pen and paper or putting it in your notes, and prepping the day before, the week before, the month before, and having that stuff prior. Because I've always been very, very diligent about organization, and that's helped me find success at work, in paintball, and in fitness.
Yeah, that's actually like one thing I've been preaching. You know who really started me on it? I've seen. So I did a clinic a long time ago for this Colorado Blitz team, and there was one guy taking notes. I was like, dude, that's a clever idea. Out of like the hundreds and hundreds of clinics that I've taught, there's been like 1 or 2 people. You know who also did it? We kind of gave him a little shade last week, but Matt Kling also took notes. I was like, this is great. But you know who else takes notes? And I'm like, dude, this is like Mike Urena. Mike Urena is like one of the best students of the game, and it like his trajectory in paintball, like once he got on our team, like incredibly skyrocketed. And it's such an overlooked like asset that it's just such an easy thing to do, is to take notes, right? And when I'm saying take notes is like, sure, make a checklist. Okay. It's really easy. And what's actually really funny, small side, a little left-hand turn here with an anecdote, was when Kenny Rosenberg posted that little note that he wrote to his mom
Yeah,
back in like
cool.
2004. Is like, I'm going to practice with Dynasty. Don't let me sleep in. You could really feel like his excitement there, and he wrote a note. But it's interesting because we'll tell ourselves this time. I mean, I don't know. We'll call it old age. But I forget shit all the time. I constantly am taking notes with my phone, writing it down. I'll write things down. And Kyle, we talked about this a little bit. It's kind of like a to-do list for the day, and you're like, I'm so much more productive this way. Because as things are coming at you throughout the day, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to this, and then you just forget to. But if it's written down, it's this redundancy. And so when you take that to paintball, not only is it taking notes when a coach or someone says something, but, Mikey would
would walk through meticulously talking about like each nuance on snake one, moving from the, you know, the money to the god to the snake, the California to the god, all these little things, and every shot, high and low, inside, outside, who could shoot me, all these little things. And you're telling yourself this, and then you're putting it onto paper. So that's the second redundancy. And then your third one is you're reading it back to yourself. Right. And it's just, you're constantly now really realizing all of these things. And if it comes down to the beginning of like, okay, I got a paintball tournament on Friday. It's Tuesday. I'm watching the Spick and Span show. I'm writing down a couple of really important notes that I hear from the show, which obviously doesn't happen all the time. But, you know, Scott's giving you guys some good intel. But then you got a paintball tournament coming up this weekend, and you go, all right, pack batteries, pack my cleats, pack this. Like, how many of us have left stuff? I'll dig through my bag and go, I think I got it. Like, you know, you walk out of the house, you're like, all right, keys, wallet, phone, got it. And you did a little pack. But if you have this note system, and then when you get to the field, you're kind of taking notes about these things that you struggle, especially because everybody knows that they struggle. It's just this innate human problem where we hate to admit our guilt, our flaws. And what it does is it just kind of like we internalize it. We're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna, I can overcome this issue. When in reality, you can either ask for help or you can write it down. And if you remind yourself to say, hey, you know, Kyle, when you get to this spot, what do you do? And I made this huge mistake at the last event. Like, I didn't ask any of the snake guys when we were walking the field how best to play the snake. And then here I am in overtime playing the fucking snake. I had no idea what I'm supposed to do. I was like, all right, crawl behind him and shoot him in the back. That's my game plan. I crawl down there. You can't see anybody. I should have stopped at snake 4. There's all these problems that I could have easily been overlooked could have been solved if I just asked some questions and then even written it down. So yeah, like I've seen a couple of players, and I brought this to the team Narcos that I coach, and I was talking to one of my players, Ruben, who, you know, I'll send him to a spot and be like, okay, shoot here. And there's a lot of very critical movements when I'm telling people to do stuff. I like to put my guys in very difficult positions, but I think it's easy. But obviously, when you're the guy who draws it up, obviously that's easy because you know exactly what you're talking about. So I don't always eloquate all the details exactly. I mean, Kyle, I'm sure, and Scott been on the same page. I'm like, yeah, just go here, shoot this guy, and put him in and go. You know, I was like, okay, well, which guy do I need to shoot in? Okay, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
And when you bring that down to the D4, D3 level, like obviously that gets to become a little bit more complex. So like I told Ruben, I go, look, dude, go to the spots and throughout practice, like write down all the shots, right? Go to the D1, like look inside, do this, do that. If you get shot, write that down. How did I just die? And keep notes throughout the day and like kind of journal out what's happening in practice, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to be like, maybe you tell yourself not to get shot here, or maybe you tell yourself not to make this move or to make this move when you put this guy in. But if you get to the next point and you kind of haven't really remembered all those steps, but if you wrote it down, it's just going to have one more or two more chances for it to stick in your mind. And just, I think there's a really powerful takeaway with that. And you know, Scott, like you said, just kind of writing down the regiment is really important, because if you're like, okay, every Monday I'm going to run 6 miles pretty quick. And then every Wednesday I'm going to run 12 miles, kind of a slower pace. And then in between I'm going to eat something here and there. And then you don't have anything, but you're just trying to remember it for the first time. Obviously there's going to be tons of stuff that goes through the holes. And then you're like unprepared and you're kind of like fighting from behind. But if you just kind of like whiteboarded it out or whatever it is,
and
like you're
what I
way
do,
set up.
And what I do too is, so I have my whole program written out.
He's got a spreadsheet. You showed me at the gym the other day.
It's a whole spreadsheet. And then I actually write what I did. So if the goal was 10 miles at a 10-minute mile pace for, you know, Wednesday afternoon, I go back in after and I write what I actually did do. Oh, I ran 10 and a half and my pace was actually 10:20. And I take notes on my performance. And I also take notes on anything that also stuck out. So I have something to go back on and see in history.
If you have like a left knee pain or something. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, as many details as you can get. Obviously, data. Like if people don't quite realize this yet, that data drives the entire world at this point. You need to step outside, or maybe actually get on the computer that you're on and figure out how this stuff is maintained. Because honestly, like data is what progresses sports
moving forward. And I keep really extensive notes when I'm coaching teams. I'm like, what happens every point? So if a guy comes out and he's like, oh, why am I not getting playing time? It's like, well, here's kind of like what the play script is going on. And, if you're alive at the end of the point, you're probably still playing the next one. If you're not, and there's a guy that is surviving, there's some things that we need to work on. And I do that as like, to hedge myself against disgruntled players a little bit, but also so I know moving forward from match to match, like who's playing really well and excelling in each specific position. And if you're doing the same thing, and it's so funny. There's this like, and I'll be kind of not guilty of it too, but like journaling. I don't journal, but Kyle, I got the journal thing for you, and I looked it over, and that thing's pretty cool. I don't know if you've ever used it or not, but
I just pulled it out the other day. I'm gonna try to use it, I guess.
Yeah, I use it with Sloan just because it's a fun little.
It said like 5 day. Something? Yeah.
It's kind of like it's something super simple, like kind of setting your intention and tone for the day or that. And it's like if you guys, if everybody's too like, macho to keep a journal or something like that, like I get it. You can kind of put a little lock on it and hide it under your bed or your pillow or something. But it is really important to keep data and stats on the day and how you're feeling.
I've been journaling for like 5 years. It's just a little blank guy that I got on Amazon. And I don't do it every day, but like, every probably few weeks I'll write something. But where the true value comes from journaling is, and it's just like, write whatever, write what you're feeling. What I used to do is I used to journal when I was down and when I was in shitty moods, and I would journal. But it's good to journal also when you're in like good spirits too. And so the true value of it is not just like putting stuff out there and like putting your emotions on paper, looking back over it several months, years down the road and rereading where you were in that mindset, how you were feeling emotionally. That is the most beneficial part of journaling and just reflecting back on your thoughts, because you forget how you felt in that time and that emotion. So jotting down on blank piece of paper, I'm a huge fan of it. I've been doing that for probably 5 years.
Yeah. And I didn't even know that. But it really is, right? Because then you can like, again, going back to the data-driven thing, you can be like, played like shit today. I don't know why. I didn't really get a good sleep last night, and I ate McDonald's for breakfast.
Yeah.
And you're like,
energy was low.
Let's look at the day. Let's look at the time that I did do well. It's like, let me go back last week. Played really well last night. Had a good night's sleep. Had a steak dinner. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Got laid.
Well, what you got laid. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right. So there's all these like factors that you can bring in, and if there's a data set, again, the more data you collect, dude, I'm a huge fan of spreadsheets. I must have 100 different spreadsheets that I work on like constantly, and I'm like, anytime I need to take new notes, I'm like fine tuning these things, and I got these formulas that are like, like why is this happening? I can go in there and look at the formula, like control like each year to year, based on mainly just numbers and things like that. But it's super important because you can figure out, like, that's how companies are run. Mm-hmm. That's how professional athletes are run.
I mean, look how much it's changed, like scouting and analysis data in paintball, like in the last 5 to 10 years. Like, you need it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We got I want to answer this question.
Questions in there, yeah.
From I'm looking at this one from Dan Shelley. He asked a bit ago.
I was about to bring that one up.
So he asked how to stay hydrated. Hot Texas weather, 100 plus degrees. So hydration, the key is, first off, you want to hydrate a couple days prior. So if you're going into that practice and you're already dehydrated from the day before, and you try to start taking all your hydration supplements and water and fruit, you're already behind. So at least a couple days before, make sure you're getting a good amount of water, electrolytes, and carbohydrates. I love using fruit as a source of that. So
someone also said too, like those little packets that you're eating when you're running, would those be good?
Yeah, those gel packs, it's just instant glucose, and some of them have electrolytes. But prior to, like the day before for sure, if you really want to set yourself up for success. Even start 2 days prior. Start making sure you're getting enough water, but also take electrolyte supplements and fruit. The carbohydrates will also help shuttle the electrolytes into the cells. So you need carbohydrates for hydration. I'm a huge fan of bananas. That's going to give you potassium as well. And then again, the day of, you want to make sure you're getting electrolytes and water. But yeah, it's tough. 100 plus degrees weather out in Texas. I've done that for 3 years with X Factor.
X Factor. You know, it's another thing that I read. Obviously, I'm a big fan of spring water, but I was reading this thing about water retention, right? And fruit. If you eat fruit in the morning, the fiber in the fruit helps you retain some water, which, you know, I don't know how much there is to that, but I was kind of reading this thing, and I heard about it, and then I read a little bit about it, and it's kind of interesting because obviously there's a lot of fruit or a lot of water in a lot of fruits. You know, if you think about an apple or stuff like that, or there's a lot of minerals. If you think bananas, watermelon, those type of things have a lot of potassium in them. And if you have a bunch of fruit to kind of like, and I just kind of like, again, visualizing it like in my mind, a cartoon of just like a bunch of fruit sitting there and there's a water like absorbing into it, like a big sponge in your body that your body can draw from as well. And then I have these like salt little crystals that I use that I'll break up and that helps. Also just pacing yourself through the 100 degree heat. You can't just cram in as many points as you possibly can.
Yeah,
you can't redline the whole thing.
Should we try to call short? He might not pick up, but
who? Yeah, call short. We need to get him on the.
We'll see if we can force him to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, I've got twins. I'm here. I don't know what he's up to. He might be watching too. And this has been a really good episode. Obviously just the conversation, but the nuggets that Scott's been dropping a little bit.
Yeah, been awesome.
I think that a lot of people can benefit from a lot of the things just in general. The Spick and Span show drops on a weekly basis. Obviously, Perchek's episode last night was hilarious. Like, I can't wait to see some of the more of the clips from it.
Yeah,
and it was too good. It was so funny, and can't wait to have him back on the show a little bit later in the season when he comes back in summertime. But it's interesting too because Scott, what do you think's you calling him?
Yeah, he didn't answer.
Yeah.
Sucker.
What I think?
What's easier? Winning World Cup or training for a marathon?
Which World Cup? The one with you? Piece of cake. I just kick my feet up and watch.
What were you saying?
I mean, I have a question that'll probably be a little bit longer of a talk. I don't know if you were about to ask something.
Go for it. No, hit it.
So, taken with all the information that you've enlightened everyone with, Scott, say you were like, you're not doing the marathon, you're stepping back into paintball right now. What are some things? Obviously, you've had some like injuries and it's been bad on your knees, but let's say like it wasn't an issue with your knees. With everything that all the knowledge that you have now, what would that look like for you as far as like a weekly basis?
My
at
training?
Your age? Yeah.
I would probably scale down my resistance and strength training because the goal wouldn't be to add more muscle, but just maintain the muscle mass that I have. So I'd probably only do 2 to 3 days a week of weight training. In my normal routine, I'm doing 6 days a week when I'm not running. So 2 to 3 days of weight training, and then I would focus mostly of my training to be around plyometrics and speed. So trying to get faster, trying to be more agile. I would do probably yoga a couple times a week, work on mobility. Also just my warm-ups in my strength training and my like plyo training would also involve a lot of mobility stuff too. But yeah, my goal would be to increase speed and agility.
Yeah, and just so people know, right, like you need to be very quick in the burst. And Kyle actually has a couple of really good drills on BKI. Kyle did like a whole segment maybe 5 different drills on like how to be explosive quickly. Obviously those two kind of go hand in hand. But Scott, what would you, and you can check those out on BKI. I think there's a link down below. Scott, what would you say is a good way to stay in shape or attempt to stay in shape for the guys that are like really busy? So imagine someone who's, got a family, and doesn't have time to go to the gym and do 6 days a week in the gym, doing yoga 2 days and strength training and agility training. Like what's a good way to
So we'll talk on 2 topics. We'll talk about exercise and we'll talk about nutrition for people in a pinch who just have very little time, family, work, all the above. Any exercise is better than no exercise. So if you can get any sort of movement and just get out 3 30-minute workouts per week, I don't think that's too much to ask for somebody that has a really busy schedule. If you're able to do a 30-minute workout in your backyard or garage or living room, with some light resistance or some cardio or whatnot, and you can do that 3 times a week at the bare minimum. I don't think anybody is incapable of doing that, of 90 minutes a week. That is the bare minimum. More is better, obviously, and anything's better than nothing. So make the time, right? If you don't have the time to go to the gym, you make the gym, come to you, and you have something at home, and you cut out the transportation time. So make the time. And you can definitely get that in. The nutrition part is a big part, and most people struggle with this the most, and it's the hardest part. And there's different ways that you can eat healthy and be able to hit all your nutrients without having to just throw everything out the window like most people do. Most people just order out all the time because family, work, or both. And I see a lot of my clients. Most of my clients are middle-aged people who have family and they're really busy. And they're constantly talking about how, they're eating out all the time. They didn't have time for dinner and this and that. And there's so many ways that you can still eat healthy and in a timely manner. So number one, like if you have the money for it and you have no time, order meal prep. Like that's it. So I tell like all my wealthy clients who are like, I just have no time to cook, can't do it. I know they have money. So order meal prep and have those delivered to your house. Now you have no excuse, right? Another way is to meal prep yourself. So can you devote an hour or 2 a week to cooking mass amounts of meat and vegetables and carbs at a time and Tupperware it up and have it in the fridge ready to go? The way that I cook is I cook once a day. And so what I'll do is I'm only cooking for one. So it's a little different. If you're cooking for a family of 4 or 5, this could be harder to pull off.
Yeah,
but
Ryan.
I cook one massive dinner, right? So my massive dinner is 2 meals. It's my dinner I'm eating there, and then I'm bringing the other half to work. And it's probably 3,000 calories of an entire meal. I'm cooking about 3 pounds of meat, a ton of vegetables, some carbs.
3 pounds of meat a day?
I'll eat 1.5 pounds in one sitting.
Shrimp jambalaya.
Yeah, I eat a ton of meat. So what I'm doing is I'm making one massive dinner where I'm eating half now and I take the other half to work. And then I also take some snacks that are going to be zero prep, such as yogurt, fruit, nuts, and I'll throw those in a bag as well. And so now I have 2 meals that I bring to work, and then I come home, and then I cook that one meal. So I really only cook once a day. It takes me 1 hour to cook, clean, prep, and do it all. So I'm devoting 1 hour a night to my cooking time, and I'm able to eat all my meals home cooked. That's my routine.
Dude.
You can do it more bulk in mass if you're cooking for more people. If you want to cook several meals out in advance, you can do that too. Also, like easy tips. I was telling one of my clients the other day, she was like, I feel guilty. We like stopped and got like this food from whatever takeout, and it was like kind of garbage. She's like, we were just long day at work, did 12 hours, didn't feel like cooking. And I was like, here's a healthier, easier option that you could have done and probably would have saved money. Rotisserie chickens. I'm a huge fan of. Every grocery store has a rotisserie chicken. It's cheap, it's clean protein, and it tastes good. You grab the rotisserie chicken, that's going to be enough protein for 2 to 3 adults. You grab a side of veggies or whatever, and there's your dinner for, $15 to feed a couple or more if you need, to feed more mouths or whatnot. But like, if you have to stop somewhere quick, that's a quick, easy go-to. There's convenience out there. It's people just, I think a lot of times don't realize how much easier it really is, and then they just resort to quick ordering out.
What do you think? And I actually don't really have an answer for this because I think and I think it goes back to it's just kind of what you need. But what do you do during game day? If you recall, like I rarely eat breakfast in general. And then we usually have, I don't think we'll have afternoon division this next event, but we usually have like the 3 p.m. and the 5 p.m. match, which is the absolute worst when it comes to eating. Cause you're like, what do you do during game day as far as like, what do you do for lunch?
Yeah.
What do you do for breakfast?
So that's all relative to when your match is. So if it's 7 a.m. match, first game of the day, and you're waking up, 5:30, I'm probably not eating anything. I'm probably just having water and some electrolytes and coffee, and I'm fasted, but I have energy from the dinner before. If a game is 10, noon, 2 o'clock, I have time to let food digest, then I'm going to eat and let my food digest. You want at least a couple hours for digestion, and you don't want to eat something super heavy, but carbohydrates and protein are going to be your friend for energy, for muscle recovery, for performance. But you don't want a belly full of food rolling into your match. So giving yourself adequate time to digest, 2 to 3 hours. And then also post-workout meal is very important for recovery and help you recovery into the next days of playing.
Dynasty eats poppyaki, dude. That shit's so good.
What is that?
The poppy teppanyaki.
Hibachi.
Dude, hibachi.
Oh yeah, hibachi.
He loads the whole team up at the end of the event because he's been at the last couple of events, dude. It's
Damien
good.
eats Chick-fil-A. He said right here in the
Dilly
chat.
Dilly Donuts.
Damien is not the specimen. Wasn't he supposed to come over again?
Yeah, he was supposed to come over.
Yeah, he forgot. He had to go check in on his
But
dog.
I figured he was gonna forget, so I just asked Scott.
Yeah. Did you write a fitness book?
I did. I see Orlando's in here, my guy.
Yeah, Orlando, yep.
Yeah, I wrote a paintball one and a fitness one. I need to write a new one.
Yeah, you should.
Irish
sea
moss. Edric Alvarez says Irish sea moss is a game changer.
I'm not familiar with it, but
I thought that's a soap. What was I gonna ask you about something in there? I think there's a couple other questions. Let's see.
There was one good thing too that I just got reminded of when we were talking about the.
Oh!
What up?
Yo.
There we go.
How we doing, guys?
There's the second leg of the running tripod.
You might be muted.
Oh, we
Just got back from Europe.
Oh, how was it out there?
Dude, it was awesome. The
venue's sick, huh?
Yeah, the actual venue was amazing. It was kind of like built into the side of a mountain, and we were surrounded by trees and like mountain range, and it was cool. And then where everybody stayed was next to the beach, so it was awesome. I'm glad to be back.
And you ran all the way over there, didn't you?
I did.
I did.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, you had the Jesus sneakers on, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, short dog.
Dude, tell us about the 50-mile ultra that you ran in Catalina. I talked briefly about how you did it, but tell us more details.
Yeah. So at first I did a marathon, and that's cool, and it's hard, and it's not something everybody can do, but it's very achievable. So I was like, what's next? And I think ultimately I want to run 100 miles, but I think you kind of have to start baby steps.
100, dude, that's wild.
But why? Like, what? Doesn't it get boring? Like, we were like, it's
a lot of things, but it's not boring.
It's a lot of things.
Painful, agonizing,
right. Right. And you like that because...
But, so, yeah, I want to do 100, but logically, basically, 50 is the next step from a marathon. And so I did 50, and now in October, me and Mark Crescent are doing our 100K, which is like 62 miles. Yeah, we're going to do it up in Big Bear, so the elevation is going to be a factor. A lot of pain.
Oh my God.
A lot of pain.
How hard was the 50?
It was hard. It was by far the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. You know, they say you get like runners high, but you also get runners low. And, you know, your mind can really turn against you because if you think about it, your mind is the only thing that's propelling you forward. It's telling you your legs keep going. So it can turn and it can basically tell you to stop, you know, fight or flight, like stop everything you're doing, and quit. You're an idiot. Why are you doing this? But I had a lot of those thoughts for the 15 hours I was out there.
Jeez, you came a long way from that 1 mile hill next to the turquoise house, huh? That 1 mile.
I wish I still lived there just to practice on that.
Dude, that hill was rough. Should have Ryan go do it.
Yeah, we did that, I think, once. I think I did that with you guys one time.
Yeah,
that thing's brutal. I stick to my little hill fence. So Scott mentioned his motivation, like kind of what drives him in a mental side. Are you guys getting a weird echo, or is that only on my end?
No, we're good.
Okay, cool. What is your, like, what is it? What motivates you aside from, I joked that it was kind of like you get to get out of the house for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
But what is it? Like, when you hit that, like, the runner's low, when runner's low sets in, what is it that, like, kind of tells your mind, like, okay, legs, like, let's just keep going?
I think you got to just tell yourself it's very temporary. You know, if you read any of these like books or listen to any of these kind of like motivational people who do this, they really emphasize that, you know, it's just a very temporary moment in time. And it's so easy to quit. Quitting only takes, you know, 1 second. But if you just kind of swallow it and tell yourself, hey, look, in 3 more, 4 more, 10 more hours, like this is done. And I can live the rest of my life knowing I accomplished something. Whether that be running, studying, whatever the case may be, it's just, you know, not quitting, not taking the easy route. That's just what I tell myself at least.
So you obviously played paintball at the highest level when you were a stud. I'm pretty sure you could probably still just go on the field and easily mop people up. But how is your life? Because Scott kind of mentioned competing is like you and he, we all competed for the majority of our lives, if we think about it. How was that transition for you? Kind of like, all right, I'm not competing anymore. Like, does this suck? Like, what am I going to do to fill this void? I think it's kind of running is what you started doing, which is strange.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you know, when I stopped playing paintball, you know, you're kind of left with this identity crisis of like, okay, what am I? Who am I? And it's difficult. You know, I think for some people maybe it's easier than others, but like for me, for you guys, paintball, that's been everything since I was like 13 years old, you know? So it took me a while to kind of find that next thing, and it turned out to be running, which was always like an underlying training a part of paintball. But I just took it to the next level. But it's exactly that. It is kind of like the replacement for paintball. But I really realized that I love to work towards something, right? Whether we're training for World Cup, you know, I love that time between the event where we're preparing the process, basically. And with the running, it's like
just get those balloons to come out.
Like you've got to be all in.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I don't like it seems like, just like you said, pain, you know, it's like, it's so easy, obviously, to quit. And I think that a lot of people, they hit adversity or whatever it is. And especially this day and age, you know, shout out to everybody who was born in the 90s, like at least the early 90s or in the 80s, who kind of understand that it's there's some going that's tough, that you can't just, it's not as easy as quit. But and we've talked about it a little bit on the show about just the new generation of human beings that are being raised and how easy it is for people to quit. It's like the word perseverance doesn't exist in anybody's or many people's vocabulary or mind. So maybe, maybe running is something that could cure humanity.
Beats the instant gratification.
Yeah, right? Yeah, instant gratification is an issue with video gamers. Like you can talk shit and just hang up the video game. Like just turn things off. Like I can talk shit to you guys if I don't like it, hang up, and I feel like I won. And I think that's like a big problem. And you see that on the paintball field. I haven't seen it a lot lately, but people get frustrated and they get down on themselves. That's one thing, but people like actually quit and just be completely over it is kind of an issue that you run into these days. And I think you might have cured humanity if everybody has to run is required, prerequisite to like move past into your 20s or 30s. You have to run a marathon and complete it. Otherwise, it's off to the gulag. I think
A lot of people go to the gulag.
Might be actually onto something because a lot of people lack the ability to persevere when it comes into that sort of situation.
For sure.
Kind of
I mean, anything good in life is difficult, right? Everything is hard. That's good. Studying to become, I don't know, a lawyer, a doctor, like that's some serious perseverance that, not everybody has, but there's great things at the end of the rainbow. Yeah.
When was the last time you played paintball?
Oh man, I don't think I've even played this year. I think I played WCPPL with Bloodhawks last year.
Weren't you supposed to play with the Narcos this year?
Oh yeah, you were, I think.
Yeah, but I heard the coach has poor leadership skills. And
How'd you guys? I forgot to ask. How'd the Notorious guys do out there in Portugal?
Oh man, it was painful. We made Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
We were beating this team, the Bad Boys.
Oh God.
We were up. I don't know. Just call it 4-5 with 60 seconds. They came back, tied it. We go to overtime. 5-on-5. It dwindles down to a 1-on-1 in overtime.
No way.
And we lose the 1-on-1.
Oh.
Pain.
Dude, the Bad Boys.
Was Diego out there?
Diego was out there, yeah.
Oh.
And then
Do you tell him that he owes Kyle money?
I think he owes Brandon money.
I didn't. But I think that
Probably.
we need a documentary from that little episode of time.
Yeah, that does need a documentary.
We need
There
a
should be.
documentary with all the stories and everybody's side and all the different factors. I think that would make for a good Netflix show.
Yeah, because Ryan
Dude,
Gray coached them obviously last year before he came, and then he was talking to me a little bit about it, and I was like, "Did Diego ever talk to you about that stuff?" And he's like, "Yeah, a little bit." I just really think he just got in a little over his head, but he wanted to do it, which is unfortunate because it just maybe it could have went a little bit better if he just had a little more prep or time to figure out how to move money internationally a little bit better. But
Yeah. Yeah, I think
You needed to take better notes.
That period of time was fast and exciting, and I think obviously things got maybe a little out of hand, and he probably has his side of the story, but it makes for a good story, that's for sure. One that needs to be preserved and told.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Yeah. That's actually a really good
I mean,
one.
that
I
was
think people
definitely
wanna
like
hear
the
that.
best Spick and Span episode of all time when all the fire was going.
Aw.
Yeah, we had the HK podcast going and all the hype. Like that was exciting.
Yeah. And we almost took down Dynasty in that first one. If we had some better paint, we would have took Ryan down.
We want to
Were you playing on the team, Short?
No, he was coaching.
No, I was coaching clipboarding.
Oh, you were coaching.
You were skinny.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that. I forgot who the coach was.
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of paint did you guys have?
GI at the time.
You sure?
Yeah, we
5-star.
ran. Was it?
Yeah, GI 5-star, break them all.
I don't think so, because we were shooting GI 5-star.
I see where Ryan was
You guys
going. I
always
forgot
get a
about
good
this.
lock.
Yeah. I think you're fibbing. I think you were shooting $20 paint.
Well, they just ran out. They just.
I think you're shooting paint that costs $20 a box.
I
You
think
weren't
they
shooting
just.
a good GI 5-star.
Well, we had a lot that was good, and then right before the finals, like, oh, we're out of that one. We're like,
Yeah,
oh, we didn't think this
Bransky
through.
hand delivered it to our pit, and we broke every ball.
We did.
Dynasty
We
wins again.
did have a bunch of gun issues.
Yeah, you guys. The issues were you guys weren't using field one forces, right? Issue number one. Issue number two. You're getting paid for $20 a box. This is. I mean, it sounds like a dream that's too good to be true. Clearly, it was. Issue number three. You had Brandon Short coaching you. He's better on the field.
That's right.
Yeah. I think there's a myriad of other issues. The other one's the checks were bouncing, so in the back of everybody's mind, they're like, "Are we gonna get paid for this? I don't know. Do we have to play? I don't know." So, yeah, we got all sports problems. And Eric, we had Diego was on the show, wasn't he on the show?
I think we did get him on the show at the beginning.
Yeah, we had him on the show. Yeah. So
Sure. I had a question. So, if you're training for, like, say you're training for that 100-mile run, what's the highest that you go to in prep? Like, is it like 50, 60, 70?
So what you want to do is you want to do weekly numbers, or like weekly mileage, right? So the best kind of like way to do it, say you're running 100 miles, you want to hit 100 miles throughout the week. That's like your best way.
oh,
Damn.
And you like really for 4 months. I mean, there's different ways to do things. Like everyone's gonna have like their science about it, but I mean that's a good benchmark. Is you want to be hitting that mileage. So like for a marathon, I mean, people will tell you different things, but if you really want to be hitting at least 26 miles a week, which is not that much.
What would your longest run be on that week when you're doing 100? What would your longest be? Would you do any more than like 20, 25? Or would you run every single day and just try to cash out every day?
Yeah, I've never ran a 100-mile week. You can break it up pretty easy. I think you can do like 17. This sounds crazy. 17 miles a day.
That's pretty easy.
Sounds like a lot.
I'm still recovering from my
driving,
17
if
2 weeks ago.
If after the show I had to drive 17 miles, I'd be like, this is gonna take a while.
I know.
You know?
Everything is relative, right? Like last week in Arizona, there was a 250-mile race. So 100 miles is, not even half of that. So those guys were like, what's 100 miles?
Yeah.
David Goggins was out there?
No, but he's done these things before. Yeah, they say that after you turn 30, you get into a few activities. It's like running, golfing,
Pickleball.
barbecuing.
Paintball. Barbecuing. I'm gonna take the barbecuing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get into barbecuing.
I want to get into barbecuing.
Yeah.
Fishing maybe.
Yeah.
I was that one time, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, when I tried to get in the monthly challenge with you guys for running. And I was going strong for like 4 days. I did like 9 miles, then 10, 11, and then that Thursday I did like 9. So I did a good amount, but you were still running like 13, 14 miles a day. It's crazy. But I went.
Kyle was just discouraged because he's like, dude, there's no way I'm gonna keep up with these guys. And I think you went out one
No,
night.
we didn't even go out. I think we went to go eat.
You went out.
We went to go eat sushi on it was like that Thursday or Friday night, and I had like 2 beers, and then I went home and I was throwing up, and then I was sore for a week. Like I felt good up until those 2 beers, and then the 2 beers just put me in my grave. And I was like, I'm done. I can't run. Like my entire body hurts. Only time I've ever felt pain like that was when Ryan and I went deep sea fishing, and I had to try to bring in this tuna for an hour and a half, And then when I got done with it, my entire body didn't work.
He
Holy
went
shit.
downstairs and went to sleep for like 4 hours.
Dude, I was like, I feel like I have the flu. I feel like I've been in a car accident. I'm like exhausted, dehydrated. I have a headache. It was like everything possibly that could go wrong. Dude, that was awful.
And the whole time he was reeling in the fish wrong the whole time.
And the guy wouldn't tell me.
The captain looks at him. He's like, "You're doing it wrong." He's like, "Dude, why would you tell me this, you jackass? You're an asshole."
He's like, "Use your
so
forearms," and you're not supposed to use your forearms. Like,
It's all in the hips.
yeah,
Yeah, it's on the hips. No one told Kyle.
yeah.
He was over there just sweating, boy.
And at the end of the hour and a half, the line got cut. Didn't even bring the fish in. I'll never go on one of those again.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I've done 3 of them. Me and
Boats.
What?
yeah.
You hate boats.
Yeah, I do hate
He
boats.
likes fancy yachts that don't leave the harbor.
I had so
Yeah,
much
he needs to be on Sealand.
I had so much anxiety when you guys did that sailboat trip. Like even just thinking about like trying to imagine myself on that thing, I would like panic 20 minutes in.
I'd do it again.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
We talked about it.
That's
We talked
actually
about it.
you guys were Short was a part of your crew.
Yeah. Short.
Short was not a part of it.
Yeah,
Short
Short.
was so excited. So just so everybody, like as a recap, if you haven't seen the Fandango video, you got to go out there and watch it. But Short, like everybody's like so much. We had such a good support system. And Short was so excited. We're like, man, this is cool. B Short wants to be a part of this. And he's like, dude, I'll see you in a little bit. And he's like, all right, I want to do something. What can I do? And we're like, dude, how about this? We're gonna need to check the weather. But, like, we have a sat phone, so we're going to call. How about you be the guy we call? He's like, you got it, man. Anytime, anywhere, I will be right by my phone. I got you. And we're like, all right, we're going to call you Wednesday, 2 days in at 12:30 p.m.
Isaac.
Just be there so we can
What
check
up?
the window. Check the weather. And he's like, you got it, man. Dude, I'm so stoked to be able to help you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. 12:30 rolls in, his phone's ringing off the hook. Like, we don't get a hold of him. And he's like, sorry. He answers it, like, 6 hours later, and there's like
Oh, he's like, sorry, I was at dinner. We're like, cool.
I was at the movies. I was like, who was in the movies in the middle of the afternoon on the one day that we said we were going to call you? And he's like, yeah, my bad, dude. And he goes, don't worry. It says all sunshine. He just Googled weather in Cabo, and he was like, it looks like sunny every day. And we're like, that's funny because someone just on the radio said there's a Cat 5 hurricane coming our way. And he's like, nope. I got sunny emojis all the way across, guys. Good luck. Have fun.
Screenshot of the weather app on his phone.
You know, I don't really have any good comments for that.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Skemp, so are you broken? Are you running the marathon, or is it just me?
Nah, we're good. We just need a little
We should
R&R.
tap in, wait, we should have Kyle and Ryan run the marathon, and we can do a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that, maybe.
Yeah, Kyle and I will just I don't want to embarrass you guys by running the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Ryan, we'll just map it out and figure out how to pop in like around mile 17.
You mean mile 25?
Mile 17. How about mile 25.2? I don't know. You know, did you see that one? I think I sent it to Scott, but there was this guy who was like a wine sommelier. He ran the London Marathon, and every mile he had a full glass of wine every single mile.
Yeah, that was
and not
wild.
only did he have the glass of wine, but he was able to guess the year, the region, and the type of wine. He's like, oh, this is a Sangiovese from the Ojai Valley 2022. And then you just run around. He's like, I'm getting notes of South African red dust, 2019. Like, yep, ding. You're like, wow, dude, how's this guy doing this? At the end, he was super sauce, though. He did it. He did it. He crushed it.
That's wild.
And so Scott.
Yeah,
this
he
is
set the
time
bar.
that you want to start
That's
drinking.
wild.
Yeah.
Well,
When
All right.
I ran Catalina, they had all these really fun aid stations, and there was the party aid station, and they had booze and tacos, and they had Viagra.
Zap 5 missed.
that 5 minutes.
How is all are you supposed to eat tacos on the run?
Yeah, they give you burritos and
Well,
shit. You're just eating as you're running.
I mean, for like a 50 miler, you don't really want to eat anything too crazy. I mean,
just some Viagra and a shot of tequila.
Yeah. You want to basically practice eating and know what you're putting in your stomach, because if you don't really practice and you just throw in tacos, you just have tacos going in your stomach like this for hours.
Did you see anyone with shit dripping down their legs?
Yeah, you can have some serious balance.
You saw a lot of people shit themselves?
No, I mean, it's not, in a lot of ways, yes, but not.
I just saw another person on a marathon had to pull over side of the road. She was like in first place, and she just had diarrhea on the side of the road. That just kept running.
Oh.
Yeah,
like on the side, like in New York, on the New York marathon.
5-pack. 5-pack.
That's like a common thing. It's like your stomach can just get really upset from the constant juggling.
My whole body's upset just thinking about it.
Never happens in paintball. Never.
No.
All right. Well, that was that 5-pack.
Alex might poop himself during paintball.
Yeah, Alex definitely has. Once a year, he says. Once a year is the quota. Are you in on that, Short?
For what?
You poop yourself once a year? You're allowed to?
You gotta keep it. Yeah, you gotta keep it. You gotta keep it going.
And you can bank it too, though. So if you haven't pooped yourself like in 2023, you get to poop yourself twice.
Oh yeah, you get rollover.
Yeah, you get rollover. You get rollover minutes. All right. Yeah, thanks Doc and Money Mike also for jamming in here in the comments. This is definitely a really good episode.
Yes, Scott dropped some really knowledge.
I think this is a knowledge episode. That's what we need to say from there.
Yeah.
We learned.
When's the next tournament? NXL. It's coming up.
It's like a month away.
Yeah, it's at the end of the month of June, I think. 20th to the 23rd of June. We've got that. We have a little schedule here down below in the comment section if you guys want to see where we're going to be. We've got like local practice, but what was that?
Meter.
Oh, me dog. Boys. Yeah, we'll be at ASG Sunday. Pull up. You know that's where we'll be. ASG the next couple weekends. We have the WCPPL. Dynasty's having a practice the weekend before that on the 1st and 2nd of June. Also on the 1st and 2nd of June, I believe that GG Sports Park is having their local tournament. They've got 3-man and 5-man X-Ball events going on. And then we have I don't even know what we're going to call it, but technically the layout weekend, which is going to be a non-layout. We'll be practicing up at Capital Edge Paintball Park in Sacramento. That's what we'll be. Kyle, where are you guys going to be at Fit?
Yeah, at Fit the weekend before, and then we'll be at X Factor the weekend before that, the 7th weekend.
Okay.
So Ryan, since you guys
Malaysia.
eliminated, who do you think's going to win the Texas tournament?
I'd say Russians have a really good chance of winning it. I think that they're going to do really well. Malloy, as you saw in Portugal, is just playing out of his mind over there on the snake side, kind of unstoppable. X Factor didn't have a really good prelims, but that, they're just going to get a little bit better. Then I think that there's like a kind of a bracket of death on one side of them. It's kind of tough.
That's what the Russians are in.
Yeah, I think Russians are going to come out of that one and kind of dump on everybody.
What did Short, really quick, what did you think about like the way the new layouts are? Do you think the strategies changed a little bit?
So what all the Americans were telling me was the European field played a lot different than the American field. There was a few factors. There was like AstroTurf. Sounds silly, but a lot of people said like the center bricks and stuff were really like inflated or bigger, which basically made it easy to get over to the snake off the break. So people ran the snake. I think I saw maybe 3 people die off the break the whole weekend. So it was non-stop heads up battle. But I wasn't a big fan of the layout. It didn't have a lot of variety in my opinion. It was a great snake, that's for sure. It's exciting. It'll be exciting to see like all the top guys going at each other.
And are you going to the rest of the European events?
Yep. I got to go to Birmingham, which is the week after.
Not Alabama.
Not Alabama.
Not Alabama.
All right.
And then France is the last.
Dude, short. Are you 40 yet?
Nope. 30.
Nope. Dang it. we need some over 40s. I don't know if I'm going to that one, but maybe I will. I still got to figure that out.
It was crazy. On the Austin team, FSU, there's some really young guys, and I just felt old. It's,
Yep. That's
But you're probably in better shape than everyone.
I was. But even we have Leo Smotron on the team,
Oh, nice.
and he's only 25. I was like, holy shit, you're a baby.
Yeah, Russians look older than they really are, though.
What's the deal? What's the deal with him? Did you ask him if he's able to go back to the States at all?
Just visa problems.
Yeah. If you're Russian and you've overstayed your visa for any sort of length of time, and then you try to come back, it's just like a red flag.
Yeah, people are not too happy with the Russians, so they're not just letting him in.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sucks. He's a good player. Russians could really use him.
Yeah, he's good.
All right.
All right, well, guys, we got to kind of wrap it up here because I've been spinning the wheel in the background. Short, what do you got from HK that we can give away? Anything? Probably not. Any of my series gear?
We have some new headbands dropping. I could definitely throw in a new headband or two.
All right. There we go. All right, so we've got a couple of things to give away. We've got courtesy of Gen X Global and Arfon. We've got a bunch of we got pad caddies. I think we sent out a couple of really cool, some water bottles, some products like that. We've got a couple more Matrix Gear T-shirts as well, and then everything's coming with NECTR pouches. I want to actually, anybody who's watching, if you guys have won something from us, have you guys got your NECTR pouches? Have you had a NECTR puck yet? You haven't had one of those?
No.
Oh, we got to get you some. Those actually might not be a bad running companion.
No.
A running companion. Skemp, have you had one?
Nah.
Oh, those things they're nice, dude. I take them actually. Well, I take them especially now with twins. I take them kind of throughout the day periodically just to give me a little bit of a caffeine boost. But I've been taking them when I surf, and I swear I surf better when I have them. Yeah, I'm telling you. It's like a little caffeine pouch with cognizine and cytocholline. It kind of gives you a little brain booster.
Well, like
brain
that.
booster. Yeah, they're nice. So yeah, we throw those in with every little giveaway package. And what else we got? Some dice stickers. Got that great. Did you see the Great American Paintball magazine?
I did. It's amazing. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, what was that?
Speaking of meter, he's on the back cover of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. What's the status? Is there going to be another one, or is this just kind of wait and see?
Yeah. Number 2 is coming out kind of towards World Cup. I think they're working on it already right now. So if you want to,
definitely a collector.
Snake
thing.
back.
I think what we need to do actually, we should get a transcript of this show,
Yeah.
of this one right here, and have that be an article.
Or just the whole magazine. But yeah.
That's the whole magazine. Well, we want to make sure that people buy the magazine. I don't know.
There he is,
that's
short.
amazing.
These are some of my favorite photos of all time.
I know. I just love it because it's me and Bob.
That's cool.
I know.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
And shout out to Drew Templeton for taking some sweet photos.
Oh, those are Drew Templeton photos?
Yeah, those are Drew.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, killer. Hey, big shout out to Alan Fang. Alan Fang, you remember Alan Fang? Just gifted 5 memberships out to everybody.
Damn.
We want to thank everybody for being a show supporter, supporting the show in any way, whether you're just liking it, watching it,
Oh, that's
commenting, sharing.
And Alan asked some really good questions.
Damn, shout out to
throwing in
Alan.
questions. We loving the questions out there. Everybody who's a member of the show, whether you're thanks for the support membership, a discounted merch perk, a super mega support status member, or even the boat squad, we've actually got a really cool collab coming out that's going to special show supporters only, and it's going to be one that's the Order of the Arrow kind of top secret stuff. So we got something really cool that we're cooking for a couple of the members out there. And yeah, also thanks to Island Designs and James Hall for donating those custom t-shirts to a couple of you guys. I know some people got I think someone wanted to get a shirt that said I crap my pants once a year, Alex FRAIGE. He's had that put on his shirts.
That's good.
So,
That's a great shirt.
The guys who all won t-shirts, James made 2 t-shirts, so one for you and a buddy or a loved one, and you get to design it yourself. You get to design it yourselves. So I sent in the email like all the Spick and Span Show graphics, and then like there's the one picture that we have on our floating banner of Alex's face, and I put that in there. So I think someone's making a shirt that says I crap my pants once a year.
I was wondering what that photo was for.
Yeah, it's just Alex is a boat member. He supports the show, even though he says he hates it. He goes to sleep with it on. Watch it every night at home. So
he has ghost accounts that he watches it from.
Yeah, ghost accounts exactly. I see. And shout out to Archie Barnes Jr. I know he's out here. Archie, are you going? Did he play in Europe or no?
6.
He did not. I heard he's not going to Atlantic City.
6
Yeah,
pack.
I think he's skipping the next 2 events.
Just turning into a 10-man.
Yeah.
And he's playing great lately. So
Cool.
yeah, we'll get the Spick and Span Show magazine up and running here soon.
You guys want to
6-pack.
see a pair of monkeys before I sign off?
Yeah.
Yep,
let's
show us
see
the
the pair of
monkeys,
monkeys.
dude.
Okay, here we go. Let's get them.
I wonder where my kids are.
They're still baked potatoes. They don't move very far or at all.
No, they don't. You have a slide inside of your house? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, it was their birthday, and we got them this slide.
That thing's steep.
Let's see.
That's an ankle
There they
breaker.
are.
Ah,
We got Bowman
Brixton and Bowie.
with
Look.
the mullet in the back.
Dang.
Strong
We got
hairline.
Brixton. I don't know
Wow.
if they're even allowed to be up here, but they're doing their thing.
Yeah, go one more notch.
Yeah.
Go up one more notch. You're good.
Yeah,
Nice. Well,
I can't wait.
you guys, thanks for having me on. I gotta get back to parenting.
All right, sure. You're doing a great job, dude.
These guys have been by themselves the whole time.
Oh, wow.
So Archie is playing Chicago. He's just missing the next event.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, guys.
All right.
Steven said, Alpha just gambles on farts and loses. Oh, I crapped out on the last part. All right, well, we're gonna go now, but we'll have another really good show for you guys. Thank you, Scott, for coming on. I appreciate all the
Yeah, that
sponsors.
was fun.
We got to get ABJ on the show. I think would be good. I'd like to talk to him a little bit about what has been the difference between this season and last season as far as his training. Because I think Archie, comment in there if you want, but I think he was playing semi-pro 2 years ago on excessive. He was on excessive 2 years ago, maybe 3, and now he's like, I would say one of the top snake guys in the league.
Yeah.
He's playing really high level paintball right now. So we'll reach out, ABJ, and get you on the show. I think that'd be a cool one to have you on there and talk a little bit about prep work, and obviously he's in good shape as well. So
Sweet.
oh yeah,
All right.
hells yeah, dude. Kyle,
Great show.
Great work at the helm.
Thank you,
Oh,
Skemp.
hold on. Let me. I spun the wheel already. So we've got winners. Benjamin Nunes, Jason Motto, and Money Mike all won on the Mega Support Status wheel.
Oh,
So you're gonna
let's
get you guys-
go.
Let's go. Send you guys some goodies. And then on the other side, we got Matthew Stafford, Hans Ryan, and Shay Urban. Also, we're going to be doing a fundraiser coming up pretty soon to help a family that's very dear to us out in Hawaii. And I'm going to get some details for everybody a little bit later. But, be on the lookout for, Spick and Span shows some of the best support in the game. And then we've got, obviously, our annual fundraiser that I'm already planning for right after World Cup. I've got one of the most epic gifts that's going to come out of the NECTR camp. So I can't wait to share it with everybody. It's going to be really cool. But I'm just kind of like throwing that out into the ether right now. So big shout out to everybody who supports the show. We really appreciate it, guys.
You
Yeah,
think
that
you're
was fun.
You think you're gonna play paintball ever again?
Not competitively. For fun.
Yeah.
We'll go mess around.
Dude, that's what we do. That's what we do on Dynasty. We play for fun.
All right.
Right now, we're
Print my jersey. Let's go.
Print my jersey. You got it. All right, guys.
All right. Later.
All right,
Till
Kyle.
next week.
Let's see it.
Oh.
And till next week.
Bum, bum, bum.
And
Freaky Fresh Show!
Kyle and Skemp. What about Ryan, dog?